Hi, 皆さんどうも、カイリです. Hi guys, this is Kai. Thank you so much again for joining me. Today I want to talk about something that is considered a controversial word. I don't personally think it is, but let's have a look. The article was written by a half Japanese lady called Nakata Yumi-san. So the title of our article is "What does gaijin really mean?" She prefaces this by asking the question, "Are Japanese people being racist by referring to foreigners as gaijin?" So let's get into it. I am very careful not to use the word gaijin around my foreign friends in Japan. They probably could care less about the word, but I understand that some foreigners feel offended with a word that to them carries a negative connotation. I am pretty sensitive to issues of race in general because of my mixed heritage, so is gaijin really a racist word? I personally do not feel that most Japanese people mean any harm by using the word gaijin. Me too, I don't really think Japanese people mean any offense by it. To most Japanese people, the word gaijin is just a convenient way of referring to someone who isn't Japanese. Refer to my article on Uchisoto to learn about the importance of in-groups and out-groups in Japan. So, what's the difference between gaijin and gaikokujin? So, gaijin here, this kanji here, the word consists of two kanji meaning outside, gai or soto, and person, which is jin or hito. So, it literally means outsider, outside person. The other word is gaikokujin. So, the word consists of three kanji meaning outside, which is gai or soto, country, which is koku or kuni, and the person which is jin or hito. So she says, as you can see, these are different words. They're not that different. Gaikokujin is much more formal than gaijin. It is, and many people think that gaijin is a shortened word of gaikokujin. It's not, but that is not necessarily the case. Yeah. So gaijin is used to describe white people or Westerners, whereas gaikokujin is for all foreigners, and that includes other Asian nationals. Okay, so I am a hafu, but not the kind of hafu who automatically receive Japanese people's attentions and admirations. Japanese people and society love hafu kids that are a mix of Japanese and gaijin, white parents. These kids are considered beautiful, and some Japanese women say that they would want to marry a white man just to have hafu kids. This is very true, and it's sick and twisted, and usually doesn't bode well for the man involved. While we're on the topic, while we're on the topic, while we're on the topic of the word hafu, I'd like to share a little story with you. So the story goes like this: me and my friend were standing on a train platform in Funabashi City in Chiba, and we were having a discussion between ourselves. And he at one point says, "Kairi half da kara." So he said, "Because you're half." And what happened was, suddenly a white middle-aged American woman came up to me and said, "Don't let anyone tell you you're half, sweetheart. You're double." I was incredibly confused, and to paraphrase, I told the woman to mind her own business and that this was a private conversation. But evidently, Americans don't know how to calculate fractions, because if I was double, there would be two of me, and there isn't two of me. You know, basic fractions: half plus a half equals a whole, or a half and any other kind of fraction to make a whole makes a whole, right? So that's my little story there. It was really weird and really awkward, and I was just dumbfounded how this person, random stranger, American woman, thought that it was appropriate for her to get involved in the middle of a conversation between two people that she had nothing to do with. Anyway, this will follow nicely on to my other point, because when we carry on with the story about gaijin, because only half of people for people that are half, the word half doesn't really affect them. I mean, we don't really care, it doesn't bother us. For some reason, other people want to speak on our behalf, and I'm just wondering, why do other morons who are not even half or mixed want to speak on our behalf? Do you see the point in that? It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's move back on to the article. So now you can understand why I have mixed feelings with the word gaijin. Even though I am technically a gaijin, I am not seen as one. As a child, I wish that my friends in school regarded me as a cool gaijin kid, but unfortunately that did not happen. So, what should we do about it? I understand that gaijin is not the best word to refer to foreigners, and although most Japanese really don't mean any harm by using the word, they should understand some people feel offended and hurt being called gaijin. This argument will probably stir more controversy, but it is also important for foreigners to understand that Japanese people often use the word gaijin without knowing that it is considered a racist word by some foreigners. In a country that is 98% Japanese, the word gaijin is usually the easiest way to refer to someone who is not Japanese. Many other countries have similar words, but in multicultural and politically correct America, it is considered offensive to refer to someone as an outsider. So both parties need to come together to work on this issue. As Japan faces rapid population decline, it will probably have to start opening doors to immigrants. Despite its technological advancement and the past economical growth, Japan is far from being a modern multicultural society. Japan has been culturally and socially isolated, and it is time to face this issue one step at a time. This seemingly trivial matter. No, it's a trivial matter. No, seemingly. It's a trivial matter. The word gaijin to Japanese is a huge deal for some foreigners. And it is important for Japanese people to be aware of this issue and keep working on it. It's the first step Japan can take to promote the importance of diversity and cultural inclusion. Miss Nakata-san, if you want, there she is, Yumi Nakata, Japan-born US educated language teacher. Nakata-san, if you want to spread this message, you shouldn't be spreading this message in English, and you should probably write it in Japanese if it's targeted towards Japanese people, this particular part here, because I don't think they're going to understand unless you make it clear in Japanese. That being said, this article was written in 2014, so thank God no one really paid much attention to this, or else we'd probably be in a lot of turmoil and trouble. So I'm going to move on to my final thoughts and tell you my stance. You probably kind of guessed. Tell you my stance and the reasons why. So I'm just going to quickly and briefly summarize my final thoughts on Miss Nakata's article. So gaijin is just an identity marker, just like the word hafu, which of course Nakata-san, you yourself so candidly use. I'm sure some people might take offense to the term hafu as well. Similarly, so is hakujin and kokujin, which means white person and black person respectively. Do you think those same sensitive foreigners would prefer those monikers instead? Well, I can respect you for correcting yourself amongst your peers because you choose to. I cannot, nor can I, would I, or should I ask others to acquiesce to the notion that we change our language in a majority 98% Japanese country to adhere to the childish wanton needs of the less than 2% minority. It's the same as someone wanting to be addressed by certain pronouns unique from the norm. While you may adjust in a private setting, you are clearly reaching and overreaching to think the masses would similarly kowtow to such stupid philosophies. In essence, you are asking us to change our language, the language we used for hundreds of years and survived with. Japanese is not as fluid as English, and Japanese itself can have ambiguous and broad meanings due to its origin and structure. One of the biggest and easy solutions most foreigners have is to just leave, go back to whence you came from. Have you never heard the expression, when in Rome? If you can't do that, you are far better off not being here.